Other than that, for gaming, played, of course, Game Club.
Yep.
And a lot of Leaf Blower Revolution.
More Leaf Blower Revolution, eh?
That game is surprisingly complex. The more I play it, the more I'm like, okay, what? The more I unlock. Because, like, when you're playing a idle game and you get to a certain point that you can't get past, you would tend to do like a restart of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like a prestige or a whatever. And so this game, you prestige, you get some coins, and then you keep going. And those coins persist through your prestige, and you keep prestiging to reset your progress to get more of these coins. And you can keep upgrading this coin shop that persists after prestige. But you go a little bit further, and all of a sudden there's a prestige mode called Big Leaf Crunch, which is another coin which resets all of your progress from that, but you get these Big Leaf Crunch coins, which gives you even more ability to progress. And so I'm going along, getting these Big Leaf Crunch coins, and I'm going through the Big Leaf Crunch shop, and I'm like, what? Crafting? There's crafting?
Oh, no.
So you can craft leaves and all kinds of different things, and there's pets, there's like 3D leaf printers, so you can print your leaves out so you can get more leaves.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, there's so much stuff. There's like events, there's bosses. Like, what is going on with this game?
They just keep adding more and more.
Yeah, and the more I progress, I'm like, oh, there's another coin past the Big Leaf Crunch coin, so I can reset all my progress and get even more progress.
They got you hook, line, and sinker, dude.
There's so much stuff in this game, it's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. I've been having a lot of fun just progressing. I've got it set right now so that all my offline, I get Big Leaf Crunch coins.
Oh my god.
I just keep, every time I log in, I'm like, oh, here's 50 million more coins. Granted, everything costs into the billions now, but...
I've never understood the idle game.
It's a weird genre.
Yeah.
Like, some idle games I find are super fun, rewarding, and satisfying, where others are just like, okay, what is this?
Yeah, like, to me, you could just like have a spreadsheet that just adds 1 to it every second, and like come back in 2 days later and be like, it's up to 3,000 now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I've never played one, but holds no interest to me.
It's like, there's all those ones that, like, the cookie clicker.
Yeah.
Where you just click the cookie.
Yeah.
And that's like your active move in that game, but like you get certain cookies per second, and I'm like, that game doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
But a game like this, where it's extremely complex, or like even what was that one on Steam that first came out? I can't remember what the hell that one's called now.
I don't know.
But it was like an adventure hack and slash, but you didn't do anything. You just hacked and slashed and adventured.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the hell the name of that game was, and there's a second one that's out. But I really like that one because it was fairly interesting. Because you would progress so far, reset your progress, and it would be an easy, kept getting easier and easier to get to that point. And I guess the time frame from which that happens is super manageable. Mm-hmm. Whereas other games, it's like, oh, well, it's going to take forever to do this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just never, even the thought of it, I'm like,
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm into it.
I've never tried one, so maybe I would like it, but just the idea of it, I just was like, it's just like watching, I could watch a TV show.
Yeah. You'd watch paint dry.
Yeah, that too. That's a little more boring, I think.
Yeah. A little bit less entertaining.
Yep.
How about you? What'd you play? What'd you watch?
I played a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin.
Oh?
Which is like, this came out a year or two ago. I can't remember. It's a Switch game. It's like Monster Hunter, but it's like a turn-based RPG. So you go out and you fight the monsters and you get the parts and then you make your armors and whatever, just like Monster Hunter.
Yep.
But it's kind of like Pokemon, so you catch a monster to fight on your side. They're called Monsties. I probably have talked about this before, yeah.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
You hatch the egg, you get a monster, whatever, and you can they have genes, so you can move different perks around eventually and stuff like that. I haven't got to that. I'm still at the start of the game. But it's interesting. It's not as hardcore as Monster Hunter. They sort of tell you more and whatever. But it's also turn-based, so you do a lot more battles. Like, you would fight in Monster Hunter, it's like, oh, I got to fight a great Jaggy and it takes like 10 minutes. Whereas this one, you're just, going through a bunch of them. So it's definitely a little bit of a different feel to it. But I also played last night on stream House of Ashes.
House of Ashes.
Which
what is that?
It's a Dark Pictures game. So it's one of the like narrative horror games, basically, where you have like 5 characters and their stories are intertwined and you got to try to keep them all alive to the end or kill them, whatever.
Whatever you feel, whatever ending you want to get.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But this one was more like an action movie.
Oh?
It wasn't really a horror one. Like the first one is called The Man of Medan, and you're on like a boat, a World War II boat where there's like psychotropic drugs that are sort of released in the air, and everyone's hallucinating and they're seeing like zombies and people getting killed and everything like that. And it's a lot scarier. And then the second one is like about a guy who sees his family burned to death, and then he goes back to his hometown later, and like a bunch of bad stuff. It's very horrific, whatever happens. But this one, there was a couple scares with like, a jump scare or whatever, but it was more of an action movie. It was basically like Aliens on Earth.
Oh.
So there's like, it's in Iraq. They think they found Saddam's chemical weapon depot. They go there and it's like an old collapsed temple that was built on top of like a crashed spaceship.
Oh.
And the aliens got infected with something, so they're not really aliens anymore. They're like sort of vampires, kind of. So they've been like living down there for like 4,000 years in like cocoons, basically. And when they bite someone and kill them, they turn them into a vampire. So there's like these bat alien. They look like bats, right? And you're like, well, they bit this other guy and he turned into like what looks like more like a vampire. Like, what's the deal? And it's like, oh, these guys are aliens. You find out later. So the infection makes them look different than it does for humans, right? And, you're fighting your way through them and everything. But it was more about, it was like an action movie, basically. It wasn't really scary. There's a couple jump scares or whatever, but it was not a horror thing, which is what I thought it was going to be. That's what I was looking forward to. So I enjoyed it, but it was not as good as the other ones. This one had Ashley Tisdale in it from High School Musical. And she looked a little weird. I don't know if it was just she looks weird, period, now, or just the way they scanned her. She looked weird. But they'd show a close-up of her face, and I'd be like, oh, she looks kind of fake. Oh. Whereas the other people in the game looked more realistic. But as I was playing it, I was like, oh, this guy was in the first game. Oh, this guy was in the second game. I recognize this guy. Because they reuse a bunch of the same actors, right? So, but they have different voices. They use the face sometimes. Because there was one guy who was in the second game. He played like a dad. And in this game, he was like an Iraqi general. And he was speaking Arabic the whole time. And I'm like, I don't think that's that guy's voice. I think they just used his face and someone else's voice. So, and then the other thing too with this one is they changed the way the camera works. Into this one, basically every scene you're in, you have free camera control. You can swing around and look at everything. Yeah. Whereas in the first one, it was pretty much stationary rooms, kind of like Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. They were 3D, but you would walk through the room or whatever, and the camera wouldn't move. Whereas this one, you're controlling the camera, and it was a little clunky. Because I'd be like walking down like a narrow hallway, and it would like, you'd get to the end of the hallway and the camera had nowhere to go. So it would like zoom right up on the back of the guy's head, and you'd turn around and his face is just like right in the camera. So it was a little weird that way, but it was pretty interesting anyways.
Yeah, you just gotta pop the wall back.
Yeah.
Just put that camera back. That wall doesn't need to be there. You can still look at them.
Just make it so the wall's invisible or clear through, see through. Yeah. So they had a trailer for the next one. It's already out, called The Devil in Me. Oh. And it looks really good. It's like a sort of, it looks like it's a Saw sort of murder thing. So I'm going to get that when it's on sale and play through that.
Oh yeah. Nice splash art on that.
Oh yeah. They have great artwork. The games look great and everything like that. But yeah, this was my least favorite of the super massive games that I've played. I've played this one. I played The Man of Medan, Little Hope, as well as Until Dawn. And I enjoyed all the other ones better than this one.
Huh, The Devil in Me has mixed reviews all time on
yeah,
Steam.
I think they all have mixed reviews,
Yeah?
basically.
Hmm.
Well, they're barely games.
Yeah.
It's like QuickTime events in a movie.
Yeah.
So
Choose your own adventure quick time events.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And there was a thing I fucked up a few times, and like I got people killed because I had screwed up and everything. And
Yeah.
I've never made it through one of these games where everyone survives.
Yeah.
Every time, at least one person dies. And in this one, 2 people died.
You haven't gone back and replayed any of
No,
these
I
ones, have
haven't,
you?
but I'd like to, because it's also like I played this one pretty much as a good guy.
Yeah.
So I'd always choose like the reassuring answer or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's always like the douchebag answers that I never choose.
Mm.
And I know that if you choose, sometimes it changes the way they react to them. Like, especially in Until Dawn, I made the one girl not like me by accident.
Yeah.
So when there's a part where the door is like locked and I'm getting like attacked, and she just wouldn't open the door to let me in. But when I played it again and I was nice to her, she's like, "Oh, let me get the door," and she like lets me in and saves me, right?
Yeah.
So I've
good.
never gone back that way to check it out. So yeah, pretty good though.
Yeah.
I also have the Quarry that I want to play. That's the
Yeah.
werewolf one from Supermassive, but that one's a lot longer. Like this game, it took 5.5 hours to beat. I played through it in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Quarry looks like it takes like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So that's a little longer to play through.
Interesting.
I tried to set up my light so it was more scary too, but it didn't matter because it wasn't really that scary. Other than that, I don't think I played anything else really besides Game Club, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.